Welcome to a mini sales page breakdown that you don't want to miss. In this case study, I'm going to show you exactly what we changed on the first two sections of my client's sales page to help her create $120,000 in 5 days. Now, I say that is not the entire thing we did together. We did her entire sales page, but the easiest way to show you is by showing you. So we're going to start with 2. And if you want the entire breakdown, check out the description below where I'm going to go through the walkthrough section by section down there because I know it's going to be a long video. So let's dive in. Okay, let's do a quick before and after from the sales page. Obviously, I cannot put into the month-long or almost month-long, I should say, work that this page took, as all of the rebuilds take, into just like a 5-minute screen share, but I want to do my best to show you a little more on the specific changes we made and why. So when it came to the actual headline, which you can tell is a little bit different, it's going to look a little bit weird formatting wise because they're side by side on a desktop, but you can tell we kept the core promise that still is like what her people want, which is going to be around making money, like doing what they love in 20 hours a week essentially. But she was really wanting to bring in a new audience, which was business owners on top of bloggers. Obviously, this is named Profitable Part-Time Bloggers, so for the longest time it was focused and her audience was mainly bloggers, but she wanted to introduce, and she's already been doing this, but kind of just really go forward with including the secondary audience of business owners to bring in. So when we were trying to figure out the term for this and the headline, we wanted to find a way to acknowledge not just the new audience, but also her specific tone of voice and her POV. And one of Nina's like really extraordinary POVs is she has a unique way of doing business because she also has only a couple hours of energy each day due to just different health stuff and life stuff, but she is great at what she does. So this part around the who don't want to burn out was really important because it's part of what she talks about a lot. And the reason why she created her business is for she knows SEO and all the other SEO based things because her story is tied to not having that type of ability to be on as much as she'd want to be. And the SEO allows her to have that type of income and reliance without her having to be on all the time. So that was really important for us to focus on the headline. And everyone knows about the fold section, the headline. This is always the hardest because it's like the book cover essentially. Like it has to engage enough and still be specific enough to hold the person. So we changed it a little bit to, instead of just where this can feel a little bit more generic, like the achieve full-time income with part-time hours, because over the years, buyers have gotten a lot more discerning, which as they should, because the online space has gotten bigger. People have been burned by other courses. Although this is still true of what it helps out with, the language has been overused in the online space, even though she was one of the first people to do it. So knowing that, we had to then think about how can we still keep that core promise without it still feeling generic, because this is like very, unfortunately, what ChatGPT could bring out, and still talk about her tone of voice and the value of it. So at this time, you'll see it's 2,500. When this was initially launched, it was $997. That's the only difference that you'll see on this first part. But that is one of the challenges we had when we were first creating this, was making sure we had all of those things to bring in. The other thing is you'll see the mock-up photo, which I will link down below. And that way if you want to hear more about why we changed certain things, you can go check that one out there. It's a quick 10-minute video. But you'll notice there were specific choices that we added in, including things like adding in these testimonials here. I know it's small on desktop, but you'll see like actually pointing out and changing it to specific lessons that helped clients or help her students, like Jane, organize her clusters and increase domain authority. They know what DA means for her audience. That came from reviewing her testimonials. And also the part around who don't want to burn out also came from part of her testimonials and from talking to Nina. The piece here, the screenshot, is from her actual Facebook group, which is where she was. One of the really incredible USPs about her product is that she does, like, again, one-to-one support, unlimited audits, which is very uncommon. So having this here, and also she had responded within like hours of the person posting with a 5-minute Loom video. Again, very unheard of, a huge USP. You would not be able to see that from this. This is all just showing information. Now this is adding in also the monthly guest experts, which was newer at this time. I think it was about only 6 of people. It also included Instead of this one, which was the initial GPT you could use to ask questions to the course on the before side, this one now actually shows the exact GPT that someone was able to plan 6 months of content with. Insane. Also, inside the testimonials was referenced how much they loved the private podcast. So we had this little icon here for the private podcast. Now, does that, change everything for someone? Maybe, maybe not, but it helps refer more of the actual scope of the transformation inside of this beyond this is just the information you get, which plays a huge factor. Something else you'll notice, the above section, is that we changed the button. This is not too big of a deal, but I do have a free ChatGPT that is helping you create your call to action button that makes it more helpful to actually incite action. You can get that as well. But the thing I really wanted to make sure of here is because this is a price point that is like over 1,000, at that time was like right there, we have to really ensure trust and create certainty. So like whenever I have people start with this service, I always have them do an onboarding form. If you were to listen to the video with Nina and I, like your onboarding form, the entire onboarding process takes about like 15 minutes. Like it's not that big of a deal. But what you'll notice is that I always ask like which type of buyer type you have. It's a multiple choice question based off of like a situation that helps me figure out the main buyer type you have. All audiences will have all 4 main buyer types, but it's important for me to know that, and also what is the core human need that your people seem to come back to. And hers was they need certainty, like that is what they really desire. And for this one, I was really trying to see how we could create better certainty for them without creating weird false income claims or promises that weren't true. So instead, what I did was use the actual numbers and did a in-house survey to help show the certainty they could create from other people by saying over 350 and counting business owners and bloggers have joined with 100% success saying they recommended it. This is true. It came from the survey. That is something that you won't be able to find on a lot of sales pages because most people don't do the in-house surveys to help us be able to calculate the number. 100% can also sound a little too good to be true, but it genuinely was. Everyone who responded to the survey said they recommend it. So even that alone helps people to see more of the certainty immediately that they're craving for this, beyond just having their problem solved. The next thing is this you section, which is initially like what most sales pages are. She wanted to keep this sales page rather minimal in the design, but I thought it was important to visually show one of the more compelling pain points, which is posting on Instagram and socials and not really seeing a result from it. So we changed that here. You'll also see we changed the copy to better relate to more for audience now where they've tried things before and it hasn't really worked for them. That's what you'll see here. Versus this is more just kind of like everybody. It's you haven't started a blog yet or you kind of cracked the code. This is more of like a centralized starting point to help with who she's calling in. And then again, just change the copy. I can't go into too much of this because we'll be here for hours. The final thing I'll mention, you'll see here, it went straight into the introducing the blogger program. She didn't really have any testimonials at all on this one, except for the bottom. But when you're trying to create a narrative on a sales page to help instill trust and get them to understand that this is right for them, you have to be really intentional about every section. And the section underneath this that mattered was, now that we just talked about this promise of like helping them do this, how can we show them the like proof of that happening beyond it just coming from Nina, which is where you bring in other people, case study. This came from asking the right questions. Inside of the sales page rebuild, I give you an entire testimonial form questionnaire that helps us build a case study like testimonial from your people. And that's how we were able to create these. There's, I think, 2 or 3 on the page that just came from asking the right questions that we could then build out. And obviously the people have to respond a little bit more than just like 1 or 2 word answers, but you'd be surprised at how many people and how much you can create a case study out of those type of questions when they're asked the right way and framed the right way. So that's why we have this here, is it's helping to show immediately one of the main objections they're going to have is, oh, well, I've tried this before. I don't know if I trust that. Having this case study come from one of the people inside of it literally say the hack the system was a turnoff because she doesn't want to bring in those type of people. And having this address objections immediately, that is so paramount. And that is, again, how intentional we were with the sales page from the data, how we used it, the copy, all of this. And again, I could talk about this for years, helping create this custom gift to help kind of visualize themselves more of like literally Googling these things, trying to figure it out on their own. All of these pieces here were all created because of the sales page rebuild, from the data points to the back and forth around the copy to the visuals of Theo. Like, she sent me 200 pictures of Theo and we chose the one that showed the best emotion for this copy. Like, it's that meticulous because I know you care about your offer and I know that you have put so much time into it, and I want your page to reflect the value of that. And if you watched the testimonial video, you'll know we talked about the search powered business term that came up from it, but still kept the core elements of what was already on the page. So that's why this is my favorite offer with clients and one of my more popular ones, because it not just meets you where your offer is at, but also where it's meant to go and what it's evolved into, and the results speak for themselves. But if you want to hear even more, you can listen to the testimonial video from Nina and I going even more into it. Now, if you want help figuring out which sections you need to change so that you can have your best next launch or promotion, you're going to need to get into the Fix My Sales Page Bootcamp. Currently on a waitlist, but when you're seeing this, and it's something that I have used with my clients, and it's been generated from the last 7-8 years I've been doing this work. I can't remember. Time is hard. I think it's been like 8-ish. To help you diagnose the current sections that are quietly stalling your sales and how to fix them fast within 2 weeks or less, including a bonus on how to optimize your sales page in an hour, which is 14 specific tweaks that are not even included inside the main program that you can use or your team can do in under 45 minutes or less to increase conversions even more. And it's ranked by highest potential conversion rate to lowest to make sure we prioritize your time crunch schedule and make sure we only do things that are going to actually move the needle. So if you want to hear more about that, go check out below. If you're wanting me to help just do it all for you, you can also find that on my website as well, including the entire breakdown with Nina, which is a 30-minute video. Her and I talk about the entire process. I'll link that down there too. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.